Now I have selected this research question. This is related to my topic and I can work on it further to develop and refine my research question. How does the integration of AI with IoT data streams facilitate sustainable supply chains? I just want to make it simple. Let's start with this idea. And within the logistic and heavy equipment industries, and what are the economic, environmental, and environmental trade-off and benefits for organization pursuing these initiatives? Let's take this question and move further to our next step, where I'm going to increase the clarity and increasing the accuracy and precision of this research question. The prompt I gave you was refine the following research question. Clarity of a business context. Does AI improve and suggest me more? I'm just taking the research question, this prompt, sorry, and also taking this research question just for a general purpose research question. And now refine the following research question for precision and clarity in a business context and in global supply chain context. How does the integration of AI with IoT data stream facilitate sustainable supply chain practices and suggest more specific wording and identify any ambiguities? And I think in this we shall also add the context, which is for within the logistics. And now this research question is complete. So I can take this prompt and use it on other AI as well. Let's try this on all different AI. I'm using ChatGPT, Gemini, CoPilot, and DeepSeek for comparison purposes only. So now let's see how this Gemini has worked. The original question was this. Now refine the search question to what extent do AI-driven analytical platform leveraging real-time IoT sensor data from fleets and machinery enhance specific sustainable practices? For example, these practices, fuel consumption reduction, and mean that this is the scope of the research with global logistic operations and heavy equipment manufacturing, and what are the measurable environmental and economic impact on organizational performance and competitiveness, which is the explanation. Ambiguity, missing outcome measure, but missing. It's giving me a detailed research question, but at the same time, it is also giving me the option what it has already refined, what are the ambiguities and what was the refinement Gemini have conducted on this. Now, this is original question in Copilot. Now, the refined research question is how does the integration of AI with real-time IoT data enhance environment and operational sustainability in global logistics and heavy equipment supply chains? This is really good, but it is also giving me all the different improvements which have been done, and there are other operational variations of these, which is very nice. So how does AI enable analysis of IoT data supports real-time decision making for sustainable supply chain operation in global supply chain? We can also focus on emissions, and so it's giving me operational definition, different options, and different improvements have been done. Similarly, let's go for ChatGPT. ChatGPT also gave me one clear refined research question. How does the integration of AI with IoT generated operational data enable measurable improvement in sustainable practices across global logistic and heavy machinery equipment supply chains? This is also almost similar, and it is also giving me all the improvements it has done. Now, finally, DeepSeek. DeepSeek gave me refined question. To what extent does AI-powered analysis of real-time data or sensor data optimize fuel consumption and reduce scope 1 carbon emission in long-haul transport logistics segments of the heavy equipment industry in global supply chain? It's very specific, but I don't want to use this one, but still it's a good option. Scope 1 is the direct emissions. That's why it's really related, and it is using very good and I believe very related keywords. So these are all different options. I can say that every tool is giving you almost similar kind of answer. And in terms of specifics, some AI tool for DeepSeek is giving you more specific answers, and also Gemini is also giving you very specific answers to these questions. So it's your choice. You can use any of these tools. They are okay. All of these results are okay for us to start with. Now, once you have identified these research questions, every AI tool have refined this research question for you, and it's easier for me to work further on these research questions. So the next step is, based on the research question, we need to make it more, clarify it more based on the novelty and gaps. Based on the research question, which is our research question, refined one, I can take this refined research question. This is the refined research question. Research question: what are some common research gaps and less explored areas related to AI and management concerning? Now I have refined the research question. I'm going to use the same prompt for all 4 AI tools. Now, this is my refined research question, and these are important gaps which I'm going to use in my introduction. And also, this is very good framework to understand what are the gaps we are covering within our research. Let's try to understand the research question. The refined research question target a specific important area, or there are still several common gaps or less explored area related. Quantifying the net environmental impact of AI adoption. Obviously, that's another important aspect. Standardized matrices and methodologies for measuring impact. Yes, and interoperability and data governance across global supply chain. That is also another very important concern. And human AI collaboration for workforce transformation, scalability of pilot projects in enterprise-wide global rollouts, and long-term resilience and adaptability to foreseen disruptions. These are very specific areas and gap areas where you can continue working with your research question. But hopefully we do understand this logic. Not all of these research questions or not all of these gap areas can be explored in one systematic literature review. I would prefer if you choose one gap and explore that in your systematic literature review. That will help us to refine our research question and also a very good research work for our systematic literature. I'll be working with the environmental impact of AI adoption. Now let's see CoPilot. What CoPilot is giving us: limited cross industry unexplored environmental matrices beyond emission. That is also same. The real time data utilization and decision making, integration challenges in supply chain, which is standardization and interoperability. Similar thing. Economic impact quantification, predictive maintenance and circular economy linkages, and human AI collaboration workforce. So you can see that it's almost giving us similar sort of the answers. But for ChatGPT, if you want to work more, obviously you need to wait, or you may need to. The ChatGPT is giving us the common gaps: interoperability, integration, scalability, real-time decision making, sustainability, ROI or financial measurement, long-term performance, cross-cultural and regional variation in AI adoption, ethical and governance concern, carbon accounting, AI human collaboration, and AI in circular supply chains, benchmarking and environmental impact. All these are different gaps which you can focus on, but I believe it's important to focus on one research gap in one research question or in one systematic literature review. Similarly, you can see, and DeepSeek is also giving me also similar, but it's giving me in a very different aspects: technical and implementation gaps, AI model generalization, edge AI versus cloud AI trade-off, sustainability, impact measurement gaps, quantifying a life cycle assessment integration, which is also pa- part of circular supply chains, organization and strategic gap, almost giving similar awareness, standardization, interoperability, almost similar, but with some variations. You can choose the AI tool which best suits your need. So that's very important. So these are important gap areas for which we can understand our research work is novel and it have some gaps. So we can focus on some of these areas and some of these research gaps. Not all research gaps can be covered within your one systematic literature review. I'm going to create a file where now we are in the step where I'm going to review and improve the research question for final research question. And then we can work on this research question to generate different keywords. As I mentioned, we have already discussed a few of these options here. And we talked about the novelty and generalizability and gaps in the literature, and we do understand there are significant gaps available within this specific topics. In terms of gap and novelty, our topic is fine, but what about the rest of the operationalization of this research question? Let me refine and let me write the final research question which we are going to use. To what extent do AI-driven analytical platform leveraging real-time IoT sensor data from fleets and machinery, enhancing specific sustainable practices within supply, global logistic operations and heavy equipment manufacturing? And what are the measures? And this is another research question. I'm not going to use these. This would be my research question. To what extent do AI-driven analytical platforms leveraging real-time IoT sensor data from fleets and machinery enhances specific sustainable practices within global logistics and operations? So, and heavy equipment manufacturing. This is a good research question. I can move on from this research question to the next stage. You always need to work on these research questions. We need to identify whether this research question is workable or not. So to understand that this research question is workable or not, I need to work quickly with the Scopus Web of Sciences. So the next step is to use this. This is human iteration. I have already refined this research question. And once I refine this research question, the next step is to generate keywords. Keywords are very important. And once I generate keyword, I need to apply Goldilocks test, which is another important aspect here. So generate list of keywords from my research questions. Let's say keywords and synonyms. And this is my research questions. Keywords, they need to be standardized. That's why I need to paste my research question exactly and try to identify the list of keywords, which is very important. You can see that it's giving me all these different keywords related to my research question. To check it quickly whether research question is workable or not, whether I need to move on with this research question or not, we need to apply Goldilocks test. And how to apply Goldilocks test, I will upload another video in the next way where you will learn how we can apply Goldilocks test.